Welcome to Infidelity Truths. Before we dive into today's gripping story, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us create more thrilling stories just for you. Let's begin.
Benjamin Clark awakened that Tuesday, just like any other day in the past 15 years. Rachel was beside him in bed, sleeping peacefully, her hair spread across the pillow. He watched her for a moment, as he did every morning, feeling grateful to have such a complete family. They had constructed a solid life together. Benjamin worked as a financial consultant, Rachel as an architect. Two beautiful daughters, 12-year-old Charlotte, smart and determined like her mother, and 9-year-old Grace, sweet and affectionate like he always was. A comfortable house in the suburbs, 2 family vacations a year, Sunday dinners with the in-laws. The previous week, they had celebrated another year of Charlotte in school. Rachel had organized everything perfectly, as she always did. Decorations, cake, gifts for friends. Benjamin remembered how she smiled when Charlotte thanked her parents for being the best in the world. "We really are an incredible team," Rachel had whispered in his ear that night while they cleaned up the kitchen after the party. Rachel woke up and smiled at him. "Good morning, love." "Good morning. Did you sleep well?" "I always sleep well next to you," she replied, kissing him lightly on the lips. It was true. They still had intimacy, still talked about everything, still laughed together at the girls' antics. Benjamin considered himself a fortunate man. After 15 years of marriage, he still fell in love with his wife. During breakfast, Rachel told him about the new project at the office, a shopping mall she was designing, the biggest of her career. Benjamin listened carefully, as he always did, offering suggestions and encouragement. "You're going to succeed, as always," he said, holding her hand across the table. Charlotte and Grace came downstairs for breakfast, filling the kitchen with chatter about school and friends. Rachel helped Grace with the homework she'd forgotten to do, while Benjamin checked Charlotte's backpack. It was a normal morning for a normal family. Benjamin kissed Rachel at the door before leaving for work, as he did every day. "I love you," she said, as she always did. "I love you too," he replied, as he always replied. But everything changed when he came back home mid-morning to pick up some documents he'd forgotten. Rachel was in the office, organizing papers, when her phone vibrated on the desk. She had gone to get coffee in the kitchen and left the phone behind. The screen lit up with a message that made Benjamin's world collapse. "Can't wait to see you tonight, my love. D." Benjamin picked up the phone with trembling hands. He reread the message 3 times, hoping he'd misread it. The words stayed the same. "My love." His first thought was that it was a mistake, that someone had sent the message to the wrong number, but the name Rachel was clearly at the top of the conversation. His heart pounded. 15 years of marriage, 2 daughters, an entire life built together, and there was a message suggesting his wife had another man in her life. He opened the conversation and saw dozens of messages exchanged between Rachel and D. Intimate messages full of longing and secret plans. "I miss you. Can't wait to be in your arms. I love you." Benjamin felt nauseous. His hands shook as he read the messages. There were conversations about hotel meetings, lies Rachel told to leave the house, about how much they loved each other. The woman who had kissed him at the door 2 hours earlier, saying she loved him, had been exchanging love messages with another man for months. When Rachel returned with 2 coffees, Benjamin was sitting in her chair, phone in hand. "I forgot my phone," she said cheerfully, handing him one of the coffees. "Good thing you came back. I wanted to show you some sketches of the new project." She stopped talking when she saw his expression and the phone in his hands. Rachel's face lost all color. The coffee slipped from her hand and shattered on the floor, spilling hot liquid across the kitchen. Rachel, I can explain. Explain? His voice came out strange, as if from far away. Explain these love messages to another man. Explain why you were planning to meet your lover tonight. Rachel started trembling. It's not what you're thinking. Not? Benjamin stood up abruptly. Then explain to me what it is. Explain who this D is who calls you my love and who you say you love. Rachel opened and closed her mouth several times, unable to form a sentence. 15 years, Rachel. 15 years of marriage, 2 daughters, a family, and you're deceiving me? Benjamin, please let me explain. Explain what? That you're living a double life? That you lie to me every day? That when you kiss me in the morning and say you love me, it's all just empty words? Rachel began to cry. I really do love you, Benjamin. I love our family. Lie! He shouted for the first time in 15 years of their relationship. You don't betray someone you love. You don't lie to someone you love. You don't plan secret meetings when you love your family. I fell in love, she whispered through tears. You fell in love. Benjamin repeated the words as if they were poison. And what about us, and Charlotte, and Grace, the family we built together? Meant nothing to you? It means everything. That's why I tried to hide it. To not destroy our family, to not destroy... Benjamin let out a bitter laugh. Rachel, you already destroyed it. The moment you decided to have an affair with another man, you destroyed our family. Rachel tried to approach him, but Benjamin stepped back. How long, Rachel? How long have you been deceiving me? 6 months, she admitted quietly. 6 months. Benjamin felt like he'd been punched in the stomach. 6 months, you woke up beside me, had coffee with me, had dinner with our daughters, kissed me, told me you loved me, and you were lying? 6 months you left the house saying you were going to work or meeting friends, and you were going to meet your lover?
I didn't want this to happen, but it did. And you chose to keep going. You chose to lie every day for 6 months. You chose to live a double life instead of being honest with me. Benjamin started pacing the kitchen, trying to process what he discovered. 6 months, Rachel. Do you know what happened during those 6 months? Grace lost her first tooth, and we celebrated together. Charlotte won the school math competition. We went out to dinner to celebrate our 14.5 years of marriage. We made love last week, and you moaned my name as if you actually felt something. Rachel cried silently. All those memories are tainted now. Because while I lived those moments thinking our family was happy, you were pretending. I wasn't pretending with the girls. But you were pretending with me. You were pretending to be my wife. At that moment, Charlotte appeared in the kitchen doorway. School had let out early because of a plumbing issue. Dad, why are you yelling? Why is there coffee on the floor? Benjamin looked at his daughter and felt his heart shatter. How do you explain that her family is ending? Rachel quickly tried to pull herself together. We're not fighting, sweetheart. I just accidentally spilled the coffee. But you were yelling, Charlotte insisted, looking suspiciously at both of them. Charlotte, Benjamin said gently, can you go to your room? Dad and Mom need to talk about something for adults. Is everything okay? It's going to be okay, he lied, trying to protect his daughter. After Charlotte left, Rachel tried again. Benjamin, we can get through this. I'll break up with Derek today. We can go to therapy, start over. Derek. Benjamin felt another stab. The Derek you mentioned last month. The co-worker helping you with the project. Rachel lowered her head. You brought your lover into our life. You talked about him to me as if he were just a colleague. You made me greet him when we ran into him at the restaurant last week. Benjamin, it was just a fling. It doesn't mean anything compared to what we have. A 6-month fling. 6 months of lies, secret meetings, I love you to another man. That's not a fling, Rachel. That's a choice. You chose him over me every day for 6 months. I chose you. That's why I hid it. You didn't choose anything. You wanted to have both. You wanted the stability of family and the thrill of the affair, but it doesn't work that way. You can't have both. Benjamin went to the bedroom and started pulling her clothes out of the closet. What are you doing? Rachel followed him, desperate. Packing your things. Benjamin, stop. Let's talk. There's nothing left to talk about. Rachel, you made your choice. Now I'm making mine. What choice? I'm choosing you. I'm choosing our family. 6 months too late. Benjamin kept packing clothes. You have 40 minutes now to finish packing your things and leave the house. You can't kick me out of my own house. I can. This house belongs to our family, and you stopped being part of this family when you started lying to it. Rachel panicked. And the girls? They're my daughters, and they'll still be. You can see them whenever you want, but they'll live with me. Benjamin, please. You know what hurts the most, Rachel? It's not even the betrayal itself. It's knowing you were capable of lying straight to my face for 6 months. It's knowing that when you told me you loved me, you were thinking of another man. It's knowing that while I was planning our future, you were planning secret meetings. Rachel sat on the bed and cried uncontrollably. I made a terrible mistake, but our family is worth more than this. Our family would be worth it if you thought about it before cheating. Benjamin, the girls need their mother. The girls need a mother who sets an example of honesty and loyalty, not someone who lies to her own family. You're destroying your daughter's lives out of pride. I'm destroying? Benjamin turned to her, eyes full of anger. I found out about the affair an hour ago. You've been deceiving for 6 months. Who's destroying our daughter's lives? Rachel couldn't answer. Benjamin finished packing a suitcase and handed it to her. You have 40 minutes now. He went downstairs to talk to the girls. Charlotte and Grace were in the living room, clearly aware something serious was happening. Girls, we need to talk about something important. Is Mom leaving? Charlotte asked directly. Benjamin was surprised by his daughter's intuition. Yes. Grace started crying before fully understanding. I don't want Mom to leave. I know, Grace, I didn't want it either, but sometimes adults do things that change everything. What did Mom do? Charlotte asked. Benjamin took a deep breath. How do you explain betrayal to a 12-year-old? Mom fell in love with someone else. But she's already in love with you, Grace said, confused. She was, Grace, but now she also likes someone else. Charlotte understood immediately. Mom has another boyfriend. Yes. That's wrong, Charlotte said with the brutal simplicity of children. It is wrong. Yes, Grace cried harder. But I want you to stay together. Benjamin hugged both daughters. I know it's hard, but you'll still have Mom and Dad.
We'll just live in different houses now. Why did Mom choose another man? Grace asked through tears. I don't know, sweetheart. Sometimes people make choices we don't understand. An hour later, Rachel came downstairs with 2 suitcases. She had cried so much she could barely keep her eyes open. Benjamin, is this really your final decision? It is. Rachel knelt in front of the girls. Mom loves you both so much. That will never change. Then why are you leaving? Grace asked. Because Mom did something very bad that hurt Dad. You can say sorry, Grace suggested with the innocence of a 9-year-old. I did, sweetheart, but some things can't be fixed just by saying sorry. Charlotte stood up. Mom, do you love the other man more than us? No, I love you more than anything in the world. Then why did you choose him? Rachel didn't know how to answer. She kissed both daughters and headed for the door. Can I pick them up on the weekend? You can, Benjamin replied. Rachel left the house carrying the suitcases without looking back. That night was the first time in 15 years Benjamin slept alone in the marital bed. Charlotte came to his room twice, asking if he was okay. Grace had nightmares and woke up crying, calling for her mother. The following days were the hardest of Benjamin's life. He had to learn to be both father and mother at once, take care of the house, work, and his daughter's emotional needs. Rachel called every day, but conversations were tense and brief. She had broken up with Derek, she said, and wanted to come home. "It's not that simple, Rachel," Benjamin always replied. "But I ended it. I'm not seeing anyone anymore." "And does that erase 6 months of lies? Does that make me trust you again?" Rachel never had an answer to that question. 2 weeks later, Rachel came to pick up the girls for their first weekend at her new place, a small apartment she'd rented near downtown. "How are you?" she asked at the door. "Learning to live a life I didn't choose," Benjamin answered honestly. "Benjamin, I broke up with Derek. There's no one else in my life. Can we try again, Rachel?" "How am I supposed to trust there won't be another Derek? How am I supposed to believe any word you say?" She couldn't answer. The following months established a new routine. Benjamin filed for divorce and got custody of the girls. Rachel didn't contest it, knowing it would be hard to explain the affair in court. Charlotte adapted relatively well, showing impressive maturity for a 12-year-old. She helped her father with Grace and never complained about the new routine. Grace took longer to accept that her parents would never get back together. For months, she asked, when would Mom come home? "Sometimes people make choices that can't be undone, Grace," Benjamin patiently explained. "And when that happens, we have to learn to live with the consequences. But won't you forgive Mom?" "Forgiving is one thing, Grace. Trusting is another. I can forgive your mom, but I can't trust her anymore. And without trust, there can't be a marriage." Rachel tried several times to convince Benjamin to reconsider, but he always refused. 6 months of lies had destroyed 15 years of trust. A year after the discovery, Rachel was dating another man. Benjamin found out through Charlotte, who casually mentioned her mom's friend. Benjamin then realized he'd made the right decision. Rachel hadn't deceived because she was unhappy in the marriage. She deceived because that's who she was, a person capable of maintaining parallel relationships, capable of lying to the most important people in her life. 2 years later, Benjamin was rebuilding his life. The girls had adapted to the new reality. Charlotte, now 14, fully understood the reasons for the divorce. Grace, now 11, still missed the original family, but had stopped fantasizing about reconciliation. Benjamin learned valuable lessons about trust, honesty, and family values. He discovered it's possible to start over, possible to be happy again, but that some wounds leave permanent scars. The betrayal hadn't just destroyed the marriage, it had destroyed the girl's innocence, trust in the institution of marriage, the belief that love alone was enough to keep a family together. But it also taught him that having principles is worth more than keeping up appearances, that it's better to raise children in an honest home, even if it's a broken one, than in a home built on lies. Rachel remained a mother during weekend visits, but Benjamin never again wanted to know details of her life. She had made her choices and now lived with the consequences. Benjamin's story showed that discovering betrayal is devastating, but the reaction to that discovery defines the future of everyone involved. He chose honesty over convenience, dignity over false peace. Some people can forgive betrayals and rebuild marriages, but Benjamin learned that for him, trust was non-negotiable. Once broken for so long, it couldn't be rebuilt. His story taught him that sometimes love isn't enough, that mutual respect, honesty, and loyalty are necessary, and that when those elements break, sometimes the only dignified choice is to start over, even if it's painful. In the end, Benjamin didn't regret his decisions. He had protected his dignity and taught his daughters that dishonest actions have consequences. He had shown that some lines can't be crossed without paying a price. Life moved forward, different from what was planned, but based on truth. and that, Benjamin discovered, was worth more than any illusion of happiness built on lies. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and tap the bell icon so you'll always be the first to know when a new story drops. See you soon!